The laughter in the yard died like someone cut the power. String lights hummed overhead, the grill hissed, and our neighbors froze with paper plates halfway to their mouths. I'm Roy Mitchell, 58 years old, and I was watching my wife of 27 years hold her wine glass high like she was accepting an Oscar. I found myself, Stephanie announced, cheeks flushed from the Arizona heat or the Chardonnay, and I'm ready to let go of things that don't serve me anymore, including this marriage. Someone let out a nervous laugh, thinking it was a joke. Then the silence hit when they realized it wasn't. I set my beer down on the patio table, wiped my hands on the dish towel, and walked over to where she stood. No hurry, no drama. I positioned myself by the grill so the smoke drifted between us like a shield. "Try that again," I told her quietly. This time without the audience. She glanced around at the circle of faces. Danny Rodriguez from the VFW with his veteran cap still on. Linda Crawford from the HOA with a curious smirk. My crew foreman Carl Barnes holding barbecue tongs he didn't need. A dozen others from our neighborhood crowd, all staring like they'd stumbled into a reality show. "I want a divorce," she said, steadier now. "I'm tired of feeling invisible in my own life." I don't raise my voice. 27 years in the Army and construction taught me that volume doesn't equal authority. I looked around at the faces watching us like we were dinner theater. "Got it," I said. "You picked performance over private conversation. Noted." If I'd known what was coming next, I would have shut down the whole party right then. But I let the ribs finish cooking. You'd be surprised what your brain lets you do while it's trying to catch up with reality. I killed the burners, handed the tongs to Danny, and told Carl to help plate what was ready. Then I turned to Stephanie. "Kitchen," I said. "Now." We walked through the sliding door like business partners heading to a meeting neither of us wanted. In the kitchen, it was just us and the hum from the old refrigerator I'd been meaning to replace. I leaned against the counter. She tapped her fingernail against her wine glass. "I'm not doing this here," she said. "You already did," I replied. "So let's do the part that matters." "What part is that?" "The line." I pointed to the tile floor between us. "Pain I can handle. I won't sit through a circus." "It wasn't a circus," she said, lifting her chin. "You made a toast to ending our marriage," I answered flatly. "In our backyard, at our party." She shifted, then went quiet for a moment. The Army taught me to read silence. This one was loaded with everything she hadn't planned for. In basic training, they break you down to see what you're really made of. Some guys crumble when the pressure hits. Others find steel they didn't know they had. I'd learned which one I was a long time ago. "I'm not staying here tonight," I told her. "I'll be at the apartment." "What apartment?" "The one on McDowell, the one I kept for when talking stops and pointing starts." "You kept an apartment?" Her voice went up an octave. "You've been planning to leave?" "I've been planning to keep my dignity," I said. Big difference. In the Gulf, we had contingency plans for everything. Extract routes, backup communications, safe houses. You hoped you'd never need them, but you prepared anyway. That apartment was my extract route from a marriage that might go sideways. Turns out I'd needed it. "You're overreacting." "No," I said. "I'm reacting. You tested whether I'd chase. I don't chase." "I didn't ask you to chase." "You asked the neighborhood to applaud," I said. "I'm not your audience." She took a breath like she might swing again, then let it out slowly. I could see the calculation happening behind her eyes. This wasn't going according to whatever script she'd written in her head. "So that's it?" she asked. "For tonight, yes." I opened the junk drawer, pulled out a spare house key, and set it on the counter. The metal clinked against the tile with the finality of a gavel. "Front door is yours, back door is mine. Don't lock the garage. Carl needs to get the cooler out of my workshop." My workshop. I'd built it from scratch in the garage, turning it into a space where I could work with my hands. Table saw, router, hand tools, arranged just so. It was where I'd retreat when the world got too complicated. Where I'd built the kitchen cabinets, the backyard pergola, half the furniture in our house. Now I realized it would be one of the things I'd miss most about this place. "Roy, I'll come by tomorrow to get some clothes." "No need to be here, you can't just vanish." "I'm not vanishing," I said. "I'm creating space for an adult conversation. If you want a divorce, we do it clean. We'll see a lawyer this week. You pick the day." She stared at the key on the counter like it was a live grenade. "You're punishing me." "I'm protecting me," I answered. Then I walked back outside and let the yard continue without me. The shift wasn't just the patio dynamics. It was the balance of everything I'd built over nearly 3 decades. I cleared my plate from my own life. The McDowell apartment was a small place I'd kept since my construction business took off. 2 bedrooms, clean lines, a coffee maker that worked better than any therapist I'd ever considered seeing. I set my overnight bag down and sent a group text to the barbecue crew. "Thanks for coming tonight. We wrapped early. Drive safe." 30 seconds later, Linda pinged me privately. "Everything okay?" "Everything's honest," I wrote back. "We'll handle it." Danny texted separately. "Want me to swing by? Get that cooler?" "Leave the ribs," I replied. "Take the beer." He sent a thumbs up. At 5 a.m., I did what I know. Structure. In the Army, routine was survival. When everything around you is chaos, you fall back on the fundamentals. Physical training at dawn, equipment maintenance, mission preparation. It keeps your head clear when the world tries to spin you around. Gym at 6, phone on silent. Bench press, rows, treadmill, no drama, just discipline. The iron doesn't care about your marriage problems. It just responds to consistent effort. Same weight, same reps, same focus. Everything else was variables. This was constant. Then shower, black coffee, and off to the office. Phoenix Construction Solutions, where I'd worked my way up from framer to project manager over 15 years. Started swinging a hammer, ended up running million-dollar hospital renovations. The kind of progression that happens when you show up every day and do what you say you'll do. Carl leaned against my desk, casual like he was asking to borrow a pen. "You good, boss?" he asked. "I will be," I said, booting up my computer. "She did that in front of everyone." "She did," I answered, opening my email. "So we'll do the paperwork in front of a notary." Carl had been with the crew for 8 years. Solid worker, good instincts, the kind of guy who didn't need much direction once you explained the mission. He'd seen me handle job site conflicts, deal with impossible deadlines, manage crews through the kind of problems that made grown men want to quit. This was different territory, but the approach was the same. Stay calm, assess the situation, execute the plan. "You want me to keep the crew off your back about it?" "You can tell anyone who asks that I'm fine," I said, "and that I'm not discussing it in the break room." "Copy that," he said. Then he added with a grin, "Want that Henderson project, the hospital renovation? It's yours if you need the distraction." "I'll take it," I said. Busy beats wounded. The Henderson project was a beast. Upgrading the electrical and HVAC in a functioning hospital without disrupting patient care. The kind of job that required military precision and construction expertise. Perfect timing, really. I needed something that would demand every bit of my attention. That night, I sent Stephanie one message. "Lawyer, Wednesday 3 p.m., Mesa, address attached." She read it immediately. No reply. That was an answer in itself. Wednesday, I sat in a small office that smelled like toner and vanilla candles. The lawyer, Janet Morrison, mid-50s, efficient, one of those people who never seems to lose important papers, had the initial separation forms ready. "Is she coming?" Janet asked, checking the door again. 3 o'clock turned into 3:20. Janet cleared her throat. She'd probably seen this before. The spouse who demands divorce but disappears when it's time for paperwork. All theater, no substance. "I can notarize your signature now," she said. "We'll need hers for the final filing." "Do it," I said. "Let's not waste time." I signed where she pointed. The pen felt heavier than it should have. 27 years reduced to signatures on legal forms. But that's how endings really happen, not with explosions or dramatic speeches, with initials in the margin and dates stamped in blue ink. Stephanie didn't show, didn't text, didn't call. Walking out to my truck, I made the first hard conclusion. She loved the headlines, not the work. She threw divorce into a crowd to see who'd hand her a medal. But the paperwork? That's boring. Responsibility always is. I put it in my phone like a work task. No chasing, no follow-ups. In construction, you learn that some people talk a good game about getting things done, but when it comes time to actually swing the hammer, they're nowhere to be found. The job still needs finishing, so you adapt and move forward. Next step was separating the everyday tangle. In the Army, they called it logistics, making sure supplies, personnel, and equipment were where they needed to be when they needed to be there. A marriage was basically a 27-year logistical operation. Now I was conducting an orderly withdrawal. I moved my direct deposit to a single account. cut my name off the utility auto pay and switched my half to manual billing, called the lawn service and house cleaner, canceled the services under my card with a quick note to Stephanie. Vendors are off my accounts as of Friday. If you want to keep them, fine. If not, I'll mow this weekend and we'll figure it out after. Her response came at 11 p.m. when people send messages they've been rehearsing all day. So you're punishing me with chores now? I typed 3 different replies, deleted them all, then sent, I don't punish, I budget. 27 years of shared expenses, shared responsibilities, shared decisions. Now I was learning to think in singular terms again. My truck payment, my insurance, my grocery list. Strange how quickly the brain adapts to new operational parameters when it has to. 2 days later, she showed up at the apartment unannounced with a grocery bag and that guilty sweet tone people use when they're trying to sell you something. I brought dinner, she said, holding up a casserole like a peace offering. I eat, I replied. Thanks. So you're really doing this separate money thing? She asked, looking around the apartment like it personally offended her. Already done. That's aggressive. It's adult, I said. We're either partners or we're not. If we're not, I'm not subsidizing your schedule. I never asked you to. She set the casserole on my counter, and I could see her taking inventory. The place was small but organized. Military corners on the bed, dishes clean and stacked, mail sorted into neat piles. Everything had a place, and everything was in its place. Order from chaos. Can we talk? She asked. We can trade information, I said. That's how you see it? That's how it is. I freaked out, she offered, softer now, softer. The last few months I felt stuck, like I was disappearing. In the service, we had a saying, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Stephanie's plan had been the dramatic announcement, the public declaration, the neighbors rallying to support her brave new journey. What she hadn't planned for was me not fighting for the microphone. You're allowed to feel stuck, I said. You're not allowed to make our backyard your stage. I'm sorry about the party, she said, eyes down. I got carried away. That apology can live here, I told her, tapping the countertop. But the consequences still live here. I pointed toward the door. You're cold, she whispered. I'm consistent, I said. We can meet Janet again next Tuesday, your choice of time. She nodded and left the casserole. An illusion of care, measured, tasty, and meant to buy time she didn't want to use responsibly. I ate it anyway. Waste not, want not. But I didn't mistake the gesture for genuine reconciliation. Next Tuesday, no show again, no text. I crossed out any lingering doubt with permanent marker. Then I built my calendar like someone changing locks. Mornings, training and breakfast alone. Evenings, work, a run along the Salt River, then dinner at my kitchen counter with a notebook. I wrote lists of what I'd keep, what I'd sell, what I'd replace. Small things, coffee mugs, the recliner where our old dog used to sleep before we lost him. I missed that dog more than I missed the arguments. The dog had been a German shepherd named Ranger, military working dog bloodline, smart as hell, loyal to the bone. He'd died 2 years ago, and we'd never replaced him. Looking back, that might have been the canary in the coal mine. When a couple stops planning for the future together, they're already living in separate worlds. I also took one step into territory that wasn't mine before. HR. Emergency contact, Kendra Walsh in Human Resources asked, clicking through my file. Switch me from spouse to my brother Nate in Colorado, I said. You sure? She asked. Kendra had handled personnel issues for the company for over a decade. She'd seen divorces, deaths, custody battles, family emergencies of every variety. Her question was professional concern, not nosiness. Yes, and I want benefit status to stay as is until papers are final, but I need everything documented. No surprises. You got it, she said, with the tone of someone who'd watched people prepare for storms they hoped wouldn't hit. If you need resources, counseling, or anything, I have a gym and a phone, I said. That's enough. A week later, I slid into a booth at Rosie's Diner near Indian School Road. I'd picked it because nobody from our social circle goes to places with cracked vinyl and coffee that's been brewing since breakfast. Sometimes you need neutral ground, away from the places that hold too much history. The waitress poured coffee without asking. That's when I heard my name. Roy! a voice from the next booth over. I turned. It was Marcus Webb, old friend from my Army days, now thicker through the middle but still wearing the same style baseball cap. We'd served together in the Gulf, different units but same deployment. The kind of friendship that picks up where it left off no matter how much time passes. "Look at you," he said, sliding into my booth. "Heard some rumblings. You holding up okay?" "I'm functional," I said. He lowered his voice. "I saw Stephanie at the hospital last week. Visiting hours." "What hospital?" "Her mom," he said. "Stroke. She was running between there and home the day you had that lawyer appointment. She looked pretty wrecked." I stared at my coffee. The brain does math whether you want it to or not. Stephanie's mother lived in Tucson, 2 hours south. If she'd had a stroke the day of our appointment, that would explain the no-show. It wouldn't excuse the lack of communication, but it would explain it. "Thanks for telling me," I said. "She mentioned you two were—" Marcus waved his hand. "Complicated." "Accurate," I said. "She said you left fast." "I left clean," I said. Then I added, because it needed saying out loud at least once. "Her mom being sick explains missing the lawyer. It doesn't explain the speech in my backyard." Marcus nodded slowly. "Fair point. She can be a great daughter and still have pulled a stunt." "Both can be true," I said. "Want me to pass along anything?" he asked. "No," I said. "If she wants information, she knows how to reach me." That was week 3. After that, time flattened into routine. Phoenix summer did its thing. Oven heat at noon, monsoon winds at sunset. I worked, I lifted weights, I slept. On Saturdays, I hiked South Mountain early before the tourists showed up. Evenings, I sat on my small balcony with talk radio and let the city sounds fade to background noise. The Henderson Project became my anchor. Hospital renovations require absolute precision. You're working around sick people, expensive equipment, life support systems that can't afford interruption. It demanded the same kind of focus I'd needed in the Army when the stakes were life and death. Strange how comforting it was to have problems that weren't about feelings or marriage or what people thought of me. Every few days, I swung by the house when she wasn't there, pulled weeds, emptied the mailbox, checked that the sprinkler system was working, made sure the place didn't look abandoned while we figured out what came next, left everything the way I found it, like a caretaker maintaining property that might not be mine much longer. 6 weeks later, Danny texted, "Birthday party on Linda's roof deck Friday. You in?" "Yeah," I wrote back. "I'll bring chips nobody wants." "Bring that dry sense of humor," he replied. "We're running short." The rooftop was downtown, one of those new apartment buildings with views of the lit-up city and a hot tub nobody actually used. People moved around with plastic cups, talking louder as the night went on. I was leaning on the railing with Carl, arguing about whether the Cardinals had any shot this season, when I felt that familiar shift behind me. You know the feeling when a room's temperature changes. "Hi, Roy," Stephanie said. "Evening," I answered, keeping it casual. She looked good in that calculated way. Hair styled like she'd spent real money on it. Simple dress, nothing flashy, but nothing accidental either. She glanced at Carl, then back to me. "Can we talk?" "Short is better," I said. She exhaled like she'd been practicing this. "I disappeared on you," she began. "I did everything wrong." I didn't bail her out with easy forgiveness. In the military, you learn that apologies without changed behavior are just noise. Words are cheap. Actions cost something. "I'm sorry about the party and the no-shows," she continued. "I chose the wrong way to make a change." "You tested your power," I said. "You liked hearing the echo." She flinched but kept going. "I thought I had to be dramatic or I'd drown. It got away from me." I nodded. Carl wandered over, took one look at our faces, and positioned himself to witness without pretending he wasn't listening. Good man. Sometimes you need a neutral observer to keep things honest. "So," she said, lifting her chin, "are we done?" "Technically, we're still married," I said. "Practically, we're separate. It's time to finish clean. Janet's flexible on scheduling. Pick a day." "You always make everything sound like a schedule," she said. "Schedules get finished," I replied. "Can we take a break first?" she asked. "Talk, not sign papers." "We can talk while we sign," I said. "Stephanie, I'm not angry. I'm resolved." She looked past me like the city lights held better answers. Phoenix sprawled out below us, millions of people living their own dramas, their own endings, their own new beginnings. We were just two more people working through the mathematics of a failed partnership. "I miss you," she said quietly. "I miss the us that respected each other," I said. "That version isn't standing here." She swallowed. Carl coughed into his fist and wandered toward the beer cooler. "Mercy move." "That doesn't mean it can't come back," she tried. "It means I'm not trying to resuscitate it on a rooftop," I said. "Call Janet, I'll be there." She left with a nod that tried to be strong and landed somewhere near exhausted. I watched her walk away, and for a moment I remembered the woman I'd married 27 years ago, the one who'd laughed at my terrible jokes and helped me paint our first apartment. That woman had been real. What happened to her was a different question, and not one I needed to solve anymore. The following week, I started living like the apartment was permanent. Upgraded the mattress, bought a decent skillet, donated the ugly couch someone had left behind, and found a secondhand leather one I could actually relax in. Small improvements that signaled commitment to the present rather than hope for a different past. Patricia Wells entered my life without fanfare. Library administrator, recently widowed, we'd bumped into each other twice at the same coffee shop near my office. First time I overheard her reorganizing sentences on her laptop, speaking the edits out loud like she was arranging furniture. Second time, we traded knowing looks about the barista's creative interpretation of medium roast. Third time, we ended up talking because they mixed up our orders. "You're the guy who drinks it black," she said, sliding my cup across the small table. "And you're the one who edits out loud," I replied. "Guilty," she said. "I'm Patricia. Roy." We kept it light. Books, hiking trails, places to get decent breakfast. No rescue fantasies, no heavy lifting of each other's baggage. When she laughed, it didn't feel like payment for entertaining her. It felt natural, unforced, like conversation between adults who didn't need anything from each other except good company. One afternoon, we were at a cafe off Camelback Road. She was showing me a paragraph she'd tightened for some freelance work. 5 sentences became 3, I said, reading over her shoulder. Didn't lose the punch. "You say that like it's normal," she said. "It should be," the barista called out. "Beautiful work you two are doing over there." I smiled. Then I felt that temperature shift again. I didn't need to look to know. Stephanie was at the corner table, magazine open, eyes moving across the page without actually reading. Patricia noticed the change in me and followed my glance. She looked back at me calmly. "History?" she asked quietly. "Recent history," I said. "Should we leave?" "No," I said. "We finish our coffee." Stephanie stirred her drink like she was mixing up drama. She wanted me to approach, give her a chance to steer the conversation, ask how she was doing, hand her the stage one more time. I gave her nothing. The moment belonged to us. We paid our check and left. Patricia didn't ask for details or demand explanations. That told me everything I needed to know about her. 2 weeks later, Stephanie texted, "Just coffee, no pressure, our old spot, Wednesday 4 p.m. "Okay," I sent back. To end things, not revisit them. When I got there, she was already at our usual corner table. 2 cups, sugar packets arranged in a neat stack. She skipped the small talk. "I made it a performance," she said straight out. "You were both audience and target. I'm sorry, for real this time." I listened. That was my part. "I wasn't invisible," she went on. "I was loud. I made myself the whole point of everything. It felt like power." "It wasn't," I said. "I know," she answered. "I thought if I went public I'd feel brave. I just felt empty. And when Mom got sick, I hid behind that instead of showing up like an adult." "That your full admission?" I said. "Accepted." "Does it change anything?" she asked. "No," I answered. She blinked slow, like she'd rehearsed responses that assumed I'd say maybe. "I accept the apology," I said. "It doesn't undo the backyard or the no-shows or the drive-by surveillance at coffee shops. We finish this with signatures." "You really can just switch it off," she said, equal parts awe and accusation. "I switched it to safe," I said, "for both of us." "Can't we try again?" "No," I said. She looked down at her hands. "I deserve that." "I'm not dealing in deserved," I said. "I'm dealing in done." I slid a 20 under the salt shaker, stood up, and picked up my keys. "You're just gonna walk out?" "I told you my rule in the kitchen that first night," I said. "Pain I can handle, circus I will not." I pushed my chair in. Thanks for the apology, Stephanie. Roy, she started. Good luck, I said, and left. Not fast, not slow, just final. The steps after that were logistics and clarity. I booked Janet for the following Friday. Stephanie showed up this time, quiet, hair pulled back, pen in hand, no theatrics. We signed what needed signing, set dates for property division, account transfers, timeline for everything else. No open doors, no halfway words like, maybe later. Before walking out, I established one rule that mattered to me and to the circle we'd shared. I typed a single message to our neighborhood group chat. Update. Stephanie and I have finalized our separation. Appreciate privacy moving forward. No sides needed. Thanks. Replies were what you'd expect. Heart emojis, thumbs up, here if you need anything. Danny sent a separate message. Proud of you for handling this clean. At the house, I packed what was mine into labeled boxes. Tools, books, the vinyl collection she'd never liked, the oak workbench I'd built one winter. I left what was clearly hers, took what was clearly mine. Including my grill. That wasn't petty. That was mine. I kept the apartment for a while, then sold the big house and bought a smaller place with a 2-car garage that fits my tools and a backyard where a dog could dig if I ever get another one. Might do that. Patricia and I changed speed without announcing it. She started coming over with grocery bags on weekends. You cook, she said. I'll edit your grocery list. Deal, I said. We ate at my small table with jazz playing low, and the only argument was whether tomatoes belonged in the refrigerator. I won that one. Some hills are worth defending. Sometimes at night, I stand in my small backyard and listen to the neighborhood. A dog barks. Someone laughs 2 houses over. Life moves along. I feel calm. Not because everything turned out perfect, but because I did the one thing men forget when the show starts. I walked off stage. I didn't slam doors or throw dishes. I didn't campaign for sympathy. I told her that first night, pain I can handle, circus I won't. She gave me both. I chose which one to carry. If a younger man asked me what to do when someone turns your life into theater, I'd tell him this. Don't throw things at the stage, and don't stay for the whole show. Stand up, pay your tab, tip the staff, and leave through the side exit. Let the lights cool down without you. That's not drama, that's dignity. And in Phoenix or anywhere else, it buys you the one thing that actually changes everything. Quiet. In that quiet, you can hear your next step. And it sounds exactly like your own voice, calling your own name. The real insight isn't about winning or losing the argument. It's about understanding that some stages were never meant for you in the first place.